Deep within a sun-dappled forest, a mighty lion named Leo found himself trapped. The forest, usually a sanctuary of peace and tranquility, had turned into a place of unexpected peril for the king of the jungle. Leo, with his golden mane shimmering in the dappled sunlight, was known far and wide for his strength and courage. But today he faced a challenge unlike any other. He wasn't caught in a hunter's snare, but rather a predicament far more unexpected. The forest, with its thick underbrush and towering trees, had concealed a hidden danger. As Leo had wandered through his territory, inspecting the land he ruled, he had inadvertently stepped into a patch of thick, entangling vines. A thick vine as tough as any rope had entangled his majestic paws. The vines, seemingly innocuous at first glance, had wrapped themselves tightly around his legs, making every movement a struggle. Leo's powerful muscles strained against the unyielding grip of the vines, but they held fast, refusing to let go.
Roar!
Leo roared in frustration, his powerful voice echoing through the trees. His roar, usually a symbol of his dominance and authority, now carried a note of desperation. The sound reverberated through the forest, startling birds from their perches and sending smaller animals scurrying for cover. Each tug and pull only seemed to tighten the vine's grip. The more he fought, the more the vines seemed to constrict, as if they were alive and determined to hold him captive. Leo's once graceful movements became frantic and erratic, his strength waning with each passing moment. The more Leo struggled, the more desperate he became. His mind raced with thoughts of escape, but every attempt seemed futile. The vines were relentless, and Leo's energy was draining. He could feel the weight of his predicament bearing down on him, a heavy burden that threatened to crush his spirit. The forest, usually alive with the sounds of his playful cubs, fell silent. The cheerful chirping of birds and the rustling of leaves were replaced by an eerie stillness. It was as if the forest itself was holding its breath, waiting to see what would happen to its mighty ruler. Fear gnawed at his heart. What if he couldn't break free? The thought of being trapped forever, unable to protect his territory and his family, sent a shiver down his spine. Leo had faced many dangers in his life, but this was different. This was a battle against an unseen enemy, one that he couldn't simply overpower with brute strength. What if his cubs returned to find their father helpless? The image of his cubs, their innocent faces filled with worry and confusion, spurred him on. He couldn't let them see him like this. He had to find a way to break free, not just for himself, but for them. With renewed determination, Leo took a deep breath and prepared to make one last, desperate attempt to escape the vine's clutches. A tiny squeak broke through Leo's despair. A little field mouse, Millie by name, had witnessed the lion's plight. She scurried closer, her whiskers twitching with worry. Leo tried to roar again, to warn the little creature away, but only a muffled growl escaped his throat.
Don't be afraid, Your Majesty. I may be small, but I can help.
Leo looked at her with surprise. How could a creature so tiny hope to free him? He was a lion, the king of the jungle. Yet something in Millie's determined gaze gave him a flicker of hope. Millie, nimble and quick, scurried up the vine. Her sharp teeth worked furiously, gnawing at the tough fibers.
Don't worry, I've helped my grandfather escape from tougher knots than this.
Leo remembered a time when he had spared a tiny mouse caught beneath his paw. Could this be the same mouse, returning his kindness? Time seemed to stretch on forever. The sun began to dip below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. Leo's hope began to dwindle. He was losing strength, and the little mouse seemed no closer to freeing him. Suddenly a twig snapped in the distance. Leo's heart pounded in his chest. A human scent, sharp and unfamiliar, wafted through the air. Hunters! Leo let out a muffled roar, a warning to Millie to hide, but it was too late.
Roar!
Two figures emerged from the trees, their eyes widening in surprise at the sight of the trapped lion. One held a long, sharp spear, its tip glinting menacingly in the fading light. The other chuckled, a cruel sound that sent shivers down Leo's spine. He was trapped, helpless, and in grave danger. Leo thrashed against the vine, his powerful muscles straining.
He had to break free. He had to protect Millie.
But the vine held firm. The hunters approached cautiously, their voices a menacing murmur in the stillness of the forest. Millie, small and vulnerable, darted from her hiding place behind a fallen log.
Run, Millie. Save yourself.
Leo roared, his voice muffled by the vine, but Millie ignored him. She scurried towards the hunters, her tiny claws outstretched, her little voice raised in a high-pitched squeak that echoed through the clearing. The hunters, startled by the sudden appearance of the mouse, stumbled back. Millie seized the opportunity. She darted between the legs of the hunter holding the spear, causing him to trip and fall. The spear flew from his grasp, landing with a thud in the undergrowth.
Whoa, look at that!
Leo watched in amazement. The little mouse, so small and seemingly insignificant, had created a diversion. He pulled at the vine with renewed vigor, his muscles burning with effort. He felt a snap, then another, and suddenly he was free. Leo roared, a sound of triumph and relief that shook the very ground beneath their feet. His roar echoed through the forest, a powerful declaration of his newfound freedom. The trees seemed to sway in response, and the birds took flight, startled by the sheer force of his voice. It was a moment of pure, unadulterated liberation, a moment that Leo had longed for ever since he was captured. The hunters, terrified by the lion's sudden freedom and furious roar, scrambled to their feet and fled. They had never anticipated such a turn of events. Their confident smirks turned into expressions of sheer panic as they tripped over roots and stumbled through the underbrush, desperate to put as much distance between themselves and the roaring beast as possible. Their weapons, once symbols of their dominance, were now abandoned in their haste to escape. Leo watched them go, his heart pounding in his chest. Each beat was a reminder of his survival, a testament to his strength and resilience. He had faced his captors and emerged victorious. The adrenaline coursing through his veins made him feel more alive than ever before. He took a deep breath, savoring the scent of the forest, the smell of freedom. He had escaped thanks to the bravery of a tiny mouse. Millie, the little mouse who had gnawed through the ropes that bound him, had risked her life to save his. Her courage was a beacon of hope in his darkest hour. Leo's eyes softened as he looked at her, filled with gratitude and admiration. She had shown him that even the smallest creatures could make a big difference.
Wow, I can't believe it! I'm free! The realization hit him like a wave, washing over him with a mix of disbelief and joy. He had been a prisoner for so long that the concept of freedom felt almost foreign. But now, standing in the open forest with the wind ruffling his mane and the sun warming his fur, he knew it was real. He was free, and it was all thanks to Millie.
He turned to Millie, who sat panting on the forest floor, her tiny chest heaving. She had given everything she had to free him, and now she was exhausted. But there was a spark of satisfaction in her eyes, a quiet pride in what she had accomplished. She had done the impossible, and she knew it. Leo gently nudged her with his nose, his eyes filled with gratitude. He wanted to convey his thanks, to let her know just how much her actions meant to him. In that moment, words seemed inadequate. His gentle nudge was a promise, a vow to always remember her bravery and to protect her in any way he could.
You saved my life, little one. His voice was filled with awe and respect. He had never imagined that such a small creature could have such a big heart. Millie had shown him the true meaning of courage and friendship. How can I ever repay you? Leo's question hung in the air, a testament to his deep gratitude. He knew that no matter what he did, it would never be enough to repay Millie for her bravery. But he was determined to try, to show her that her actions had not been in vain. Together, they had forged a bond that would last a lifetime, a bond born out of courage, sacrifice, and the unyielding desire for freedom.
Millie smiled up at him, her whiskers twitching. She had always been a small creature in a vast forest, but today she felt a sense of purpose. Her tiny heart beat with courage as she looked up at the towering figure of Leo, the lion. Despite their size difference, she knew that her actions had made a significant impact. Millie had always believed that even the smallest creatures could make a big difference, and today she had proven it.
A true friend doesn't keep track of such things. Friendship is not about who has done more or who owes whom. It's about being there for each other, no matter the circumstances. In the heart of the forest, where the trees whispered ancient secrets and the wind carried tales of old, the animals knew this truth well. They understood that the essence of friendship lay in the unspoken bond of trust and mutual respect. We all need help sometimes, big or small. In the grand tapestry of life, every thread, no matter how thin, plays a crucial role. The forest was a living testament to this, with creatures of all sizes coexisting and supporting one another. From the tiniest ant to the mightiest elephant, each had a part to play, and each needed the other in ways both seen and unseen.
Leo dipped his head, humbled by the little mouse's wisdom. He had always been the king of the jungle, proud and strong, but today he learned a valuable lesson. Strength wasn't just about physical power. It was also about the strength of character, the ability to recognize and appreciate the contributions of others, no matter how small they might seem. From that day forward, Leo the lion and Millie the mouse became the unlikeliest of friends. Their bond was a testament to the power of understanding and mutual respect. They walked side by side, their friendship a beacon of hope and unity in the forest. Other animals watched in awe, inspired by the unlikely duo. They shared stories and adventures, their laughter echoing through the forest. Each day brought new experiences and lessons. They explored hidden corners of the forest, discovered new friends, and faced challenges together. Their bond grew stronger with each passing day, and their joy was contagious, spreading to all the creatures around them. Leo learned that courage came in all sizes. He realized that bravery wasn't just about facing dangers head-on, but also about acknowledging one's vulnerabilities and seeking help when needed. Millie, with her tiny frame and big heart, had shown him the true meaning of courage, and Millie learned that even the mightiest creatures needed a friend. She saw that strength and power didn't make one invincible. Everyone, no matter how strong, had moments of weakness and needed someone to lean on. Their friendship was a beautiful balance of giving and receiving, teaching and learning. Their bond, forged in bravery and kindness, became a legend whispered among the animals of the forest. The story of Leo and Millie was passed down through generations, a timeless tale of friendship that transcended differences. It reminded everyone that true friendship knew no bounds and that the smallest acts of kindness could leave the biggest impact. The tale of Leo the lion and Millie the mouse became a bedtime story, shared from one generation to the next. It served as a reminder that even the smallest act of kindness can have the biggest impact, and that true courage isn't measured in size, but in the size of one's heart.
And so the legend lived on, reminding everyone that kindness and courage are two of the most powerful forces in the world, capable of forging the strongest bonds and overcoming even the most daunting challenges.